Plenty to get stuck into today. We'll look back on Wednesday night in our Carabao Cup hero, Kevin Kelleher, and get the lads' reaction to drawing City in the next round. We'll familiarise ourselves with the new man in charge of Southampton, Nathan Jones, and look at how Liverpool might need to be wary of the new manager bounce. And as it's the last game before the World Cup, we'll get the boys' thoughts on that. And before we wrap up, they'll give us the starting 11s for today as well. Joining me down pitchside in front of the Kop, our regular face for you all, Phil Thompson, and a guy,
not so
John...
regular.
Jamie Redknapp. It's Jamie Redknapp. Yes,
no, Jamie was the good-looking one.
Oh, Jason. Ugly one. Jason McAtee's back.
Yeah.
How are you, Jason?
I'm okay. Nice and tanned.
Nice and tanned, yes.
Nice and tanned, yeah. No, I'm preparing for the World Cup.
The weather wasn't very good, yeah?
Well, everyone thinks it's like 150 degrees, Tom, over this World Cup, and that's just not the case. It's a beautiful temperature at the moment. A little bit chilly at night. You do need to take a jacket or a little top just to cover yourself up. A bit of travel advice there for anyone going over to Qatar for the World Cup.
For anyone,
do you do jambas here, by the way?
For anyone who's unaware, Jason also works for the Qatari Tourism Board, so that's why he's not been here for a while.
I don't.
Well, let's get back to the business that's been happening while you've been away. In midweek, another win in the League Cup, another win in the League Cup on penalties. We've seen this movie before, another Kevin Kelleher masterclass.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's really nice. I know we as fans get really worried when we see the team sheet. Are we taking it too lightly? But I think when you are and being as a manager, you like to think the team that you pick can win this game. That's first and foremost. The only thing I was a little bit worried about, we didn't have the cavalry on the bench if it does start to go wrong. Because you have to give the opposition the respect that they deserve. But we got through it. We should have won the game in the 90 minutes. But once again, the old penalties come out and people go, oh, why does it keep on happening? Kevin was absolutely terrific. His movement was wonderful. It's a bit worried about one of their penalties when their goalkeeper was on the 6-yard line, but all went according to plan in the end.
Kevin Kelleher, brilliant prospect for Ireland, of course, which you'll be interested in. But for us, what a number 2 to have. And the way he comes into these pressure games and he's able to deliver time after time after time.
I think it tells you a lot about his temperament. He's such a laid-back character. He's a great lad off the pitch. I've got to know him since the finals when he played in the Carabao Cup last season and done so well. And yeah, obviously his Ireland career has sort of taken off. But for me, I'd like to see him play more football. Unfortunately, he's not going to get it when you're behind the world's #1, are you, here? So the big question mark last season was he going to stay? Was he going to move on and play football? He's decided to stay. He's picked up an injury at the beginning of the season, which kind of set him back a little bit. But then he gets his opportunity to come back in against Derby the other night. I think, as a whole, the performance, it wasn't a great one. I think when you make wholesale changes, that's always the chance that it's not going to be fluid. It's going to be a bit disjointed. And that's what it was. You know, like Tomo said, you credit to Derby, they defended really, really well, certainly in the second half. They were a tough opposition to break down and they managed to get it to penalties. But when you've got Kevin Kelleher, who's made himself an expert at penalty saving.
4 penalty shootout victories, more than any other Liverpool goalkeeper. That's not bad for a guy who's played, what, less than 30 games?
I think that's wonderful, but we've got to look at more than that, just being saving the penalties. As Jason said, his temperament is just wonderful. You see how he is with the ball at his feet. He used to be an outfield player, which helps. You've seen the penalty that he scored, but you have great trust in him as a defender to give him the ball, be under pressure, be able to play out from the back, which is a necessity now as a goalkeeper. But he's improving, you can see that. But it's still to have that temperament when the ground is absolutely packed and everybody's on nerves, but he's nice and cool, calm. That is an attribute that everybody will seek at other clubs, even the top clubs. And that's why I'm hoping that he does stay for quite a while, because he's still only a young man, because he is such a great prospect.
As well, Tomo, he had nothing to do second half. Absolutely nothing to do, apart from keep warm. And you know, then he has to go into a penalty shootout and produce the saves he did. Like Tomo said, and I've said, you know, his temperament is fantastic to do that.
They weren't easy saves.
No,
you know, you think,
oh,
his son's come straight at him and he saved it in the middle. You know, they're up here, they're down below. Different sort of saves. So he has that. It's wonderful in his locker. But as he gets this great reputation, You worry about what he thinks about. Does he want to now think about moving on? There'll be clubs, there'll be agents who'll be tapping him up.
Well, in terms of games, he might get an opportunity, and one could potentially be the last 16. Liverpool through, of course, to face Manchester City just after the World Cup concludes, the week after the World Cup concludes. Even if that wasn't happening, there'd be a very good chance he could play in that game. Probably the fact that Ali will be away with Brazil for a good while probably just escalates those chances a little bit higher.
I'd be really surprised if he doesn't play. I mean, we've seen it last season. Obviously, Liverpool got to the final. The big question mark was, does Alisson come back in? But it tells you a lot about what the manager thinks about him when he says, no, Quaveen, you've come right through the competition. You've played really, really well. This is your opportunity to play in the final and produce, and he did.
I think we as fans feel more comfortable. I don't feel
I don't worry about him at all.
With certain others, young lads coming in to the starting line, outfield players. Well, with Kavim, you absolutely have got no worry whatsoever.
On those ties, though, 10 Premier League teams through, 2 all Premier League ties. One of them is ours, a trip to the Etihad straight off the World Cup. Could that in some ways be a decent time to play? They have more players away, for one thing, and also we'll have had a good time to work on things during the break.
Well, the great thing is, isn't it, that would hopefully our injuries, Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, they will be back. We'll have everybody fit. Hopefully they'll be ready to sort of go in that game. So they will be needing games. I think they'll probably play while they're away. They will have a couple of friendlies, but there'll be nothing like that. So hopefully we'll have quite a decent team. But I've no doubt that Jurgen will start a couple of young lads.
Yeah, there's so much uncertainty. So you just don't know what the team's going to be, what's going to happen after the World Cup, and you know how he takes this game against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup, how much of an importance is on it, we don't know.
Yeah, it is a season like no other. OK, we'll pause here for a second to talk you through what else we've got coming up tonight and over the next couple of days. Yeah, we've got free highlights of this afternoon's game available over on LFC TV Go from 7 p.m. Then at midnight on both LFC TV and Go, you can watch the full match. On Monday evening at 5 p.m, get the best of the behind-the-scenes action with Inside Anfield, which is available on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Yeah, the final game for Liverpool ahead of that World Cup shutdown is here against Southampton today. They have a new manager. Ralph Hasenhüttl has gone. A new man, Nathan Jones, is at the helm. In terms of Ralph's departure, 1 win in 9, the writing was on the wall. It wasn't the first time they'd gone on a run like that during his time. They were a very, very streaky team.
Yeah, they were. It was very much up and down in Ralph's. And he did well, didn't he? He had 2 9-0s, was it?
9-0s,
He had to sort of deal with...
To recover from 1 9-0 is good, but...
No, absolutely, and at that time,
new breed, and it is refreshing, and it is nice to see if he can turn it around. He's got a good opportunity now. He's got a window that opens. Let's see if they back him in the window. He's got a bit of time off now to get hold of his players and implement his own tactics and philosophy. So, yeah, let's hope it works out for him, but certainly not today.
It is a bad time, isn't it? But it's a good time, because you can go, as a lot of teams will do, they'll go away, they'll probably go to Portugal, go to southern Spain, go to, a lot of teams are going to Dubai. When the players are finished, he can easily jump over there. So there'll be time to get his ideas. And it has worked for him. Yes, it didn't work out at Stoke, but at Luton it has certainly worked. That's why he's getting the chance, because he's been good, he's been impressive. You see him there with the players, and I know you can't judge too much on that, but you can see him talking to players, and to me, I get a lot from body language, and you can see he's got an aura around him, and he's got a bit of authority that the players are listening to, and you see that there's a bond between them.
It's an interesting one for him, but he has gone away, enhanced himself. I played abroad, played in Spain, speaks Spanish as well, has that to bring to the table. He's got a young squad by and large. They've signed a lot of guys who come through the City Academy. I think it's Gavin Bazuna's the standout one. That was the goalkeeper.
Southampton from Ireland, yeah.
But there's another three, I think, that there were previous academy players at City. So there's some young talent in there to work with, but that brings mistakes at times. And there needs to be a consistency brought into the team.
There is, and that's where his experience working with younger players, because the likes of Luton, you have to bring them through academies or take them young and invest in them and try and get them up to speed pretty quick. So they would have looked at that. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the transfer market, who he goes for, what kind of players he can attract, because obviously players are going to be looking at being in a relegation fight. I think what certainly didn't help Ralph Hasenhüttl is the upturn in Leeds' fortunes. Leicester as well, you know, they started moving up the table pretty quick, and Southampton went the other way, so they've decided to part company with him and bring him in, but he needs results pretty quick, that he doesn't get dragged into that relegation fight.
Don't you think that's the hard thing for Hasenhüttl, because he's there to bring it in players from the academy, bringing them forward, bringing them in. He's got to deal with younger players. Sometimes it's hard. It works at times, but when it goes against you, you're thinking, well, you're not giving me anything to work with. I've got to try and nurture these youngsters through a difficult spell, and it goes wrong, and it costs him his job.
And also they're a selling club.
Absolutely.
Well, Southampton are a selling club, so it's kind of a rebuild for him every season.
Here.
Well, he's done fantastic, in fact, yeah. In fact, there was a question today, 13 players who played for both. And I think there's about 10 in the last 5 seasons so that we've nicked. So
we could have bought their club.
Yeah, I know.
Quite cheaper. In terms of something Tomo touched on, Jason, a lot of teams will use this break to have a training camp, to have time together, to have bounce games. It's who deals with this break best and starts strongest out of it that will go on and kick on in the season. You have to deal with this well. It's a challenge, but you have to find a way to get through it.
It's unique, isn't it? It's never been done before. No one's ever had a mini pre-season, which is basically what it is. I mean, I think our lads are going away for warm weather training. Like Tomo mentioned before, City, Liverpool, all the big teams will lose the majority of their squads. All the managers will have their hands over their eyes, hoping they all come back not injured. That's the big thing. But also, for the big players, and we've got some big players, they go into the tournament deep, which means they play a lot of football, they train every day, they play a lot of football in difficult conditions. It is warm, it's not too hot, but it is warm. They're going to train every day, and it's going to be difficult the longer they go to stay fit. So we just have to see what comes back. It's just as simple as that.
If you don't take anything else from today's show, take the fact it's not too hot in Qatar. It's a lovely 20 degrees. That's the message from our friend here at the tourist.
You need
a bit of
To wrap things up then, Tomo, we always finish this with getting you guys to try and second guess what Jurgen might do with his team. What would you do if you were the manager this afternoon?
He's got to go strong. I think he has to. We need to keep this mini run going now, right to today, because we've got the break. I'm going with probably what everybody will get: Trent, Virgil, Big Ibu and Robbo, and I'm going for Hendo instead of young Harvey. And people will be surprised at that. He has done so well, but he had a good start, and then I thought he should have been rested, and then he hits a bit of a brick wall, and he's come back stronger. So I'm going for Hendo, I'm going for Thiago, and I'm going for Fab in the midfield. And then Nunes, Bobby and Mo.
Okay. Jason, many differences in your starting 11, if you can remember it. No. I can see it by that look on your face. You've forgotten who you picked.
Probably the heat
No, what it is, so
Doha
I've got the Mexican team in my head, the Ecuador.
You've gone for Harvey Elliott.
I've gone for Harvey, yeah. Thiago.
Instead of Thiago.
Yeah,
that's the one change I can see.
I was at the game the other night. I was at the game, and Harvey Elliott come on and changed. He changed the game.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan of Harvey's. I think he's come on wonderfully well after his injury, and I think his performance the other night warrants a start. Jordan probably won't help. Oh no, I've got Jordan in. Thiago it is.
Yeah.
I've not put in. Yeah, but I think the two of them, there's a time and a place for them. I do. I just think today, a bit more energy from Harvey Elliott than what Thiago gives you.
It's harsh. I'm leaving him out, and he's going to have plenty of rest. And you're going, well, what's the problem? He's such a good player, and he's been probably, for this third of the season that we've had, has been our best player. But I just think, make sure that we keep him absolutely right.
As far as Tomo picking teams, he's not the best. He used to drop me all the time, so I wouldn't...
That
was the one thing that we got right.
If there was ever an absolute seal of footballing knowledge, that's it. Tomo's the man to turn to. He knows his onions. Gemma, we'll pause things just there. That's it from Jason, Phil and myself for the moment. We'll be back with you on LFC TV and LFC TV Go from 5 to 2 with Match Day Live. Our build-up includes an exclusive chat with Calvin Ramsey. We've got live commentary of all the action from 3 p.m. up on the gantry with Steve Hunter and John Aldridge. And then at 5 p.m, a full hour on the Matchday reaction show with analysis and interviews with the players after today's game with Southampton. That's us done for now. We do hope to see you at 5 to 2 if you can join us then. Sunshine. It's like Qatar. Jason's back. What more invitation do you need? Oh, I've missed him. See you then.